So I just bought the most expensive pair of shoes that I've ever owned. And these are barefoot shoes as well. So at the same time, most expensive barefoot shoes I've ever owned. So why did I do that? Let me navigate this little stream. Oh, a little bit slippy on the rocks. Good to know. Oh, the suspense. They're not trail shoes, by the way. So I bought these things. These are barefoot shoes. So why were they so expensive? Well, this is the Vivobiome shoe that they've been playing with right now. And it's like a little beta project that they've been playing with. And it's not really been open to the public until recently. And it was still limited then. And I managed to get one of the first runs that they have produced, which is pretty awesome. So what is it? The Viva Biome project is basically it's 3D printed shoes. And we've seen 3D printed shoes in the past. So custom shoes shaped to your foot. We've seen that in the past. And now we're seeing it in the barefoot world. And the difference here being obviously one, barefoot, two, they're working with material specialists, which are, well, supposed to be more environmentally friendly, very true to the Vivo Barefoot kind of theme in general. But at the same time, trying to perfect the fit of a shoe. And as you probably know, fit is the first thing you should think about with shoes and barefoot shoes, any type of shoe. Because if your foot can't function properly, then it's not the shoe for you. So first of all, what I had to do was basically take some scans of my foot through an app that they actually produce. And that measured my foot in terms of volume, width in different areas and length. And the measurements that it gave were pretty similar to what I'd actually got in the past with my own measurements. If anything, I would say that my forefoot width was maybe a tiny bit narrower in width. Maybe that's my measurement. Maybe that's their measurement. It's kind of hard to say. So, but it was pretty cool. It's pretty cool to see. The technology seems to be working pretty well. And it took quite a few months for them to actually get these shoes out to me. Well, first of all, were posted out to the UK and 270 pounds, I think it was. It's pretty expensive. And then I had to ship them over to New Zealand as well, which cost me another maybe $100 or something. So what are we looking at? Maybe 400 US dollars just for a pair of shoes? Yeah, I'm not sure I could really advise this for everybody. But what do you get? I think that's the interesting part. So this is probably my first real run out and I'm actually running on trails. These aren't trail shoes. Don't advise that really, but you know, I like to be in the trails. So this is what we've got. And, and well, they're super minimal. They're more towards the motor slide kind of shoes. I'm not really sure that these are really geared up for running specifically, but at the same time, well, what's the best way of working out the durability of this shoe? Well, it's going running in them. So we'll find out in the end. We see this knit here is like well, it's just a knitted weave. Obviously, they're able to tailor that to my foot shape at that point. But I think the main thing is this outsole here. So the outsole we can see is, it's a nice blue color, but it's actually not, it's not kind of like a rubber as such, but you can feel this grittiness, which is obviously where it's been 3D printed there. And you can see it wraps up around the edge here as well, all the way up to around my ankle a little bit. And this is what actually keeps it in place. This is what keeps the shoes on my feet, especially because this heel is pretty much non-existent. It's just flexible. So there's no heel lock here at all. It's all coming from this outsole here, which wraps up around the ankle, up and around here. And to be honest, this actually works pretty well. I'm being quite surprised at it. So what's the fit like? I think that's the main thing here. The fit is actually, dare I say, pretty good. Maybe I'm a bit biased because I know that this is supposed to be the exact fit for my foot. But around here, my little toe comes out here and I can splay just nicely, not super wide, but just nicely. I see that they kept this kind of area open a little bit just to allow that splay a little bit more and obviously that flexibility as well. And then you see that the outsole comes around the foot here. And that's quite nice because it makes your foot stay in place very nicely. And often I used to get issues in Viva Barefoot, also Ultras, where the midfoot here is not wide enough for me. I used to get pain around here. And upon first putting these on, I actually don't have that issue at all. And I did a little measurement as well. And it seems to be maybe 3 or 4 mil wider around that area for me. And well, that makes sense because that's where I need my width. And that's what the 3D printing actually allows us to do. One common thing that you find with Viva Barefoot shoes normally, so the depth of the shoe is it's not very deep usually. And this is kind of true for this little toe cap around here. It's not the deepest in the world. I am rubbing against it a tiny bit. That could be an issue in the future. And also around here as well. It's not super deep, maybe because the structure doesn't come up too high around here. So it's not lifting this knit over my toes as such. It's actually just pressing, not hard, but it's just pressing on the toes a little bit. So something to note. Because it's a knit, it probably won't be an issue there. And then lastly, these little eyelets here. These little eyelets are just knitted into this weave. Again, I wouldn't crank these too hard because obviously, I don't know. It depends how well knitted they are in there, but I wouldn't really rely on them too much to keep you firmly in place. It's more about this sock booty upper and this outsole here, just keeping you nicely in place. So in general, I've actually been really impressed. I was very, very surprised that I didn't get any heel slipping, especially considering this heel is just absolutely flexible, but actually fits really, really nicely. Underfoot, it feels pretty good as well. It's quite minimal. It feels pretty similar really to the Primus Light, I would say. So all in all, pretty cool up to now. I think the biggest thing here will be how long do these last? Because these are materials that we're not really seen before. We don't believe we've seen before. And especially in this running environment that I'm putting them through, I'm going to take them on the road quite a bit. And I just want to see how many kilometers I can get out of them because, well, this could be the future, especially for Vivo Barefoot, especially because people in the past have seen a few issues in width being one thing, but also in depth. Hopefully they can sort that with maybe the knit upper a little bit more and get a nice fit. So I'll keep going with them and I'll report back and basically tell you, well, what's the future look like? I'm bored of sitting here right now, so I'm going to get going again and run through some of these streams here.